That's right, John and Terrence. Tonight's meeting had a much different tone than what we've experienced previously at Dalton City Council meetings. Now, the room was full of Henyard supporters, and they wanted me to be sure to tell you that they applauded for her several times as she talked about the township being in a great place financially. Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, who's also the mayor of Dalton, hosting a township talk tonight. About 30 residents in attendance, Henyard staff talking about upcoming events as well as resources for seniors and struggling families. The majority of the meeting focused on property taxes and finances. Henyard showed residents how their property taxes have increased each year despite what their local mayors may have suggested. Staffers also distributed a breakdown of the township's finances from 2017 to current, where Henyard's team says years ago they were in a deficit of more than $2 million, and now today under her administration her team says there's a surplus of more than $6 million.
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993. And she's the best we ever had.
You know, you're doing a lot of programs, good programs for the senior citizens, and you're doing a lot of programs for people who are on a fixed budget. Mm-hmm. But what about the people, the blue collar people who are still carrying this town?
I was very appreciative of the transparency of the supervisor, Tiffany Henyard.
Were there any questions that you have at all?
No, right now I'm going to give her a chance.
And this meeting comes one day after Fox 32's 𝗪𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗦𝗢𝗡 exposed what some are calling misappropriation of funds. After traveling to Washington, D.C. in January for a U.S. conference of mayors, according to credit card records obtained by Fox 32, Henyard paid more than $9,100 for the trip. Expenses included conference payments, plane tickets for herself and her assistant Keith Freeman, hotel rooms, and a rental car. The issue, a Thornton Township credit card was used. Henyard apparently went representing her mayoral seat in Dalton. Her critics say there is a lack of transparency about the bills and credit cards. Tonight, Henyard did not specifically mention Washington, but in her last comments, she did address budgets for travel.
You know we have a budget for travel. I can't stand that they just put all that out there so bad for travel. And you should, for your other cities, other villages, library boards, park boards, school boards, and you'll see that they all travel. But yet they put all this stuff on travel. And it's all legal. It's all legal. They try to spin it. And it's sad because they are doing a smear campaign.
So what I want you to focus on from that video that we just saw was the fact that, yes, it was hard to hear her. The audio on that segment was not good. But I think what you heard at the end was kind of all you need to know, is that she is alleging that there is a smear campaign going on from her opponents regarding where she's, making payments from, that she's essentially stealing money. So you've got these supporters who are just crazy about her. And then you've got these other folks who are like, hey, I'm from the township, and this is pretty standard stuff for this mayor and for this supervisor, because she's one and the same. She's got two political offices. And it seems like she is basically stealing funds from one to pay another expenses, because there's probably no funds in the other one. There's probably no funds in the village of Dalton's accounts. So because, they're supposed to be somewhere $4, $5, $7 million in debt. Now, going back to the beginning of this, where Tiffany Henyard claims that somehow the township has a big surplus after her coming in and having a negative, a deficit. Yeah, there's no way that happened. There's absolutely no way. That didn't happen, but whatever. You know what I mean? It's just kind of one more thing you got to throw in there with, all right, seems pretty much par for the course with this administration. Thornton Township Supervisor and Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who are one and the same, hosted a township talk meeting. Going to get together and talk about township. which is nothing wrong with that. You need to have that. You need to have discourse with people in your community, your electors. At a meeting on Wednesday where around 30 residents gathered to discuss various community issues, Henyard and her staff highlighted upcoming events and resources available for seniors and struggling families. That seems to be the major focus, whether it's the township or the mayor position. Seniors, she's hooking the seniors up. All right, that's fine. And then the struggling families, people on welfare, right? And that's what we're talking about. And you heard the one individual say, hey, what about us? What about the blue collar folks who are actually funding all of this budget? What's she doing for us? Apparently nothing, right? Except maybe stealing some of their money and paying another, paying her travel bills with it. Henyard demonstrated to residents how their property taxes have increased each year. Okay. Staffers distributed a financial breakdown of the town's finances from 2017 to the present. Henyard's team claimed that the township was previously in a deficit, but now boasts a $6 million surplus under her administration. I would say the legitimacy of that is probably slim to none, right? I mean, that just doesn't make any. She is not touted as the super mayor of finance, right? No, she's just self-proclaimed super mayor. The meeting came one day after Fox 32's 𝗪𝗡𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏. That guy has been bird dogging this story since the beginning for like 2 years. 𝗪𝗡𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏, appreciate your hard work. Yeah, you've been there, and I get to benefit because I'm reading a lot of your stories. 𝗪𝗡𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏 reportedly alleged misappropriation of funds by Henyard. According to credit cards, we saw what that was. $9,100 on a trip to D.C. for U.S. Conference of Mayors. I previously released a video on that whole thing where she went to the Conference of Mayors but paid for it with the Thornton Township credit card, including conference fees, plane tickets, and hotel rooms and a rental car. You know what? At least she got 2 hotel rooms, right? I mean, come on now. Throw me a bone here. She got 2 hotel rooms. Whether her and her sidekick were in one together, who knows? It's just where the mind wanders, right? No, it appears that's a different drill. Henyard, who attended the conference of the mayor of Dalton, faces criticism over the transparency of the expenses. I'm not even sure if it's the transparency. It's the straight up source of payment for the expenses and the use of township funds. During the meeting, Henyard defended the expenses, stating there's a budget for travel and it's legal. I'm not saying there's not. I'm saying you betcha. That is if you're going for a work-related type trip, you betcha. You can do that all day long, but you got to pay for it with the correct funds. Yeah. She dismissed the allegations as part of a smear campaign, noting that she is up for re-election next year for both her mayor and supervisor positions. Okay. So saying that other people travel and saying that you travel too, but you're being hammered on for it, you're kind of completely, you are avoiding the main source of contention, which is you use money from the wrong account. And by wrong account, I mean, you stole from one account to cover another. It didn't have any. Yeah. So when an employee does that at work, they get fired because it's called embezzlement. Yeah. The FBI is currently investigating Henyard and her team in Dalton following several reports of misconduct. This story just keeps on going. And look at the related articles. You got the $10,000 you can see on my podcast. Dalton trustees appoint mayor pro tem. Yep, I covered that one. And you guys ate up that one. That one did really well. Tiffany Henyard booed by Dalton residents at village board meeting amid FBI investigation. Okay, so she got booed at the village board meeting because the village has no money and they are wondering where in the F is our money. Whereas it's hard to keep it all straight, isn't it? Whereas the township apparently somehow has a massive surplus. None of this stuff makes sense. That's why we're reading it. How about this? Another story here. Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard named in latest FBI subpoena. Yep, we covered that one as well. Thornton Township subpoenas reveal Tiffany Henyard is the target of the criminal investigation. I think I'm releasing that one today. Law firms drops representation of Dalton, Mayor Henyard, amid financial strain and FBI probe. Now, why does a law firm drop representation of Dalton? Because Dalton doesn't have any money to pay. Yeah, right. Oh, okay. How about this last one here? Mayor Tiffany Henyard under further FBI scrutiny as subpoenas served at Thornton Township Hall. They subpoenaed everybody, right? They're just like, all right, shoot one out. Yeah, give him one. Her, just give her a bonus one. Just give her a bonus one. Whole thing is so convoluted. And yet it's classic mismanagement, isn't it? It's just classic mismanagement. I mean, it's as simple as that. Let's watch another quick video here.
Obtained copies of the 2 federal subpoenas served on Thornton Township on Friday. And there are 2 big takeaways. Tiffany Henyard is clearly a target of the criminal investigation, and that investigation is growing.
Well, overall, it tells me that the investigation is expanding. It's not just focusing on the city of Dalton.
Former FBI agent Ross Rice says the subpoenas reveal the burgeoning scope of the federal criminal investigation into Thornton Township Supervisor and Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. One subpoena focuses entirely on Henyard, including 2 businesses she owns, a restaurant and a property management company, as well as Henyard's political fund and the charity bearing her name. It asks for all records, including personnel files, wage and tax statements, time and attendance, records of work performed, contracts, and checks written to cash.
The mayor and the township supervisor, who are one and the same, appear to be the primary focus of the investigation.
The second subpoena requests a kitchen sink of township records, including financial reports, budgets, payroll records, and ordinances covering credit card purchases, expense reimbursements, security details, and the use of vehicles. Mayor Officer Young put in for 303 hours in a 2-week period. 303 hours. Fox 32 has reported extensively about Henyard's use of a police security detail, which police say has hampered their ability to fight crime. You need security to protect you from questions from reporters? The subpoena also asks for payments and credit card expenditures for a number of township employees.
I mean, those old white guys with white hair. I mean, those old big white guys, you got to watch out for them. Those guys will get you every single time, won't they? You need a big security deal. So funny. Do you need
employees, including Henyard's top lieutenant, Keith Freeman, some township trustees, and Henyard's boyfriend, who runs the township's youth violence prevention program.
Hey, y'all, this is Mayor Tiffany Henyard, Supervisor Henyard, the people supervisor.
The subpoena also focuses on township travel, including a story first reported by Fox 32 and the Illinois Answers Project about a trip Henyard took to Springfield in 2022 with Dalton and Thornton Township employees, ostensibly to raise money for a cancer charity in her name. We wondered who was paying for all of this, and so are the feds, who ask for records of municipal resources being used on behalf of Friends of Tiffany Henyard, her political fund, and charitable organizations, including the Tiffany Cares Foundation, which involved a $10,000 donation of taxpayers' money made by the township.
It's very broad in the scope. It's very broad in the number of people and entities they're asking for records on.
You get the idea. They have basically, FBI has gone, they're going after, like the video said, the kitchen sink being, toss it all in there. Let's see what happens. Let's request records for everything. How much do you want to bet they've already cooked the books? They've just cooked them up. They put it up to 400 and they cooked the books for 40 minutes. Yeah, just get them good and crispy. Just crispy up those books. Those books are already cooked. They're going to have to go through and figure out where the money came from, where it went to, you know, what the situation of both the township and the village. What does that look like? I mean, what a mess, because you don't have just one. You don't have one entity. You've got two, and you've got fingers. You've got, fingers in the pie, so to speak, for both political positions that she holds. So, I mean, this could go on forever. I could possibly have podcasts for who knows how long. I mean, really long moving forward. But yeah, this is one of those classic politics gone sideways stories, and a lot of he said, she said, but it's more, she said all of this, and this is what she's sticking by. And then the feds are going to come up with something else. And then who knows? Who knows what'll happen? Who knows what will happen? Make sure you are subscribed, hit that notification bell, because I'll be covering this storyline for you, and you don't want to miss out. So thanks again for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.